So were you trying out a new software or something?
Yeah, that's what happened. I played back and it's only my voice and it's really
Oh
crackly.
no.
It's like, I can't put this shit out.
No, not if it was crackly to begin with, and then it seemed like once you hit record for me anyway, it didn't seem so crackly.
Yeah.
But yeah. I am trying to figure out how to make my computer not quite so bright. But maybe I am just stuck with that. All right, that's fine. All right.
All right. So, welcome back to take 2 of the recording. And I've got a wonderful guest here in the studio today, Emily Wise from Bad Clients Podcast. And Emily, can you just give us a 3-minute elevator pitch of what your show is all about?
So Bad Clients Podcast is about really, really awesome clients that we love. No. It's a show about just anybody who has ever had a bad client experience. You get to come on, tell me about it, and then we talk about what you learned from it, and then how you avoid it or see those people coming now. So it's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoy it. So.
Yeah, and what sort of people, like a guest on your podcast, I'm hearing is more than just graphic designers and marketers. Who else is coming on?
Crazy Australian guys. No. So I've had graphic designers and marketers for sure. A lady who builds funnels, like sales funnels for a living. A hairdresser. And a handyman was on there. So, all sorts of people. A guy who sold high-end auto parts. Just people that you wouldn't think would like respond to somebody saying, hey, come on my podcast, but they did, and it was awesome.
It'd really be interesting what a hairdresser had to say about a bad client.
Yes. So she was episode 5, so her episode is live.
Yeah.
And I guess there was this lady who had like hardly any hair, and she had this grown out extensions, and she just freaked out in the middle of the chair because she needed more volume. And I don't know how you get volume out of 7 hairs, but she wanted it. So reminded me kind of like a Karen, because when you were on, we talked about Kevins and Karens.
Yes.
And it really reminded me of that.
Yeah, I think Karen's more of an evolved beast these days. They're ones that go into supermarkets and hoarding all the toilet paper.
Yes, Karens are trying to take over the world. It's one manager at a time.
Actually, you should see this news that was on yesterday. A supermarket manager in Adelaide flipped because it was a Karen, it was a Kevin type that came back with 150 rolls of toilet paper and 200 bowls of sanitizer, and he said no refunds. And he said, you're part of the problem. Yeah, he really blew up on social media. He even flipped him the bird.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The managers at our supermarkets have been pretty cool here at home, but I'm not much of a Karen and definitely not a Kevin. So
No.
Yeah.
And apologies.
I got the short hair, but you know.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I don't think my Uncle Kevin be listening. He's in lockdown in France at the moment, so he can't get anywhere.
Ooh, France.
Mm.
I don't know if I'd want to be locked down there, though.
No.
I have a Kevin next door. He won't listen to this either. I don't think he knows how to work technology much, except his freaking lawnmower. So I have another podcast too, and it seems like every time, because I record that one with a co-host, and every time we record, he goes out and mows his lawn during our recording. It's amazing. It's like he has a radar. Whatever.
It's always at the hour you least expect.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter what time I do things. It's like he has this radar of, oh, Emily's in a meeting. I must mow now. So it could be a meeting, a podcast, whatever, doesn't matter. He's going to mow if I'm trying to do something.
Yeah, well, I actually got a neighbour who just constantly has a non-stop barbecue every night.
Like with people over or just grilling?
Just grilling and the smell of veggie oil. It was just two of them live there. And it's just every night,
Oh,
it just whiffs over the fence. But I guess we can do a bad neighbours podcast.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I like the smell of barbecue. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I guess veggie oil, I don't think I would like that smell every night. If it's a
Nah.
good meat with a good rub on it or something, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, same here, but
Yeah.
we're cooking sausages on an over smeared barbecue hot plate with veggie oil. Ugh.
Oh, yuck. No, thank you. Mm-mm.
Anyhow, we got off a bit of topic here.
That's okay.
So, is there any failures they had, apart from yesterday's episode, that you'd like to share with us and what lessons you learned from it?
So, yeah. Lots. Lots and lots. So, funny thing, I found out, so I never got along well with people at work. And I have a fairly abrasive personality sometimes, but I'm a hard worker, and it just seemed like every time I would go somewhere where there was a lot of people around, I just wasn't comfortable. I always ended up hating it. People didn't get me at all. And I found out when I was 36 that I had Asperger's, and that kind of explained a lot about the people like just not getting me. I'm like, okay. Like it came up when I was 30. My husband, who I was dating at the time, said, I think you might have Asperger's. And I'm like, I think we would have found out by now. And he's all, no. There were certain things, in my family life and growing up where, no, we wouldn't have. Of course, my son overhears and he goes, Asperger's, I don't want any of them. So yeah, it was, formally diagnosed last year. But so that was kind of, not so much a failure, but like every job I ever tried to have was just such a big fat failure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so learning from that, just finding out that working from home, being self-employed tends to work better for me. Because I'm harder on myself than anybody else, and I'm going to push myself harder than a boss will. So working with clients, and now I'm a virtual assistant. I'll do pretty much anything. I really like to do podcast and YouTube support though. And I found that I'm very good at that because it satisfies my need to research things and learn new things and really nerd out about things. And I can make money doing it, which is nice.
Yeah, so. It's the best life to have. I'm kind of falling into that area as well myself. And I've launched courses and webinars, and it's been keeping me going since the pandemic's taken over. And
yeah, how are other courses and webinars going?
Oh well, I had a great turnout yesterday afternoon. I think I sold 13 tickets and 7 people rocked up. Well, they're free, of course, and it wasn't just confined to Australia. I had people in the US, I had people in Europe. It was don't know how she got up in the morning in the US. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon over here, so it'd be 3 o'clock over there.
Yeah, that's. Where in the US was she?
LA.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, because it's 8:45 at night over here, and you're at 9:45 in the morning there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, and then LA is 2 hours behind me. So. Yeah, I was impressed that you got up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to come on my podcast. I was very grateful about that because me and 6 a.m. on Saturdays don't mix.
I haven't done it since.
That's probably a good thing.
uh, oh, look, it's just, I'm an artist, I'm a creative. I just have, sometimes you have to take sacrifices to get your creative juices going, I suppose. It's,
Yeah, for me, it usually ends up, I'm more of a night person, so I'll stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then just suffer all the next day.
yeah.
Because still have to get up early. I don't have to. I like to get up early with my husband before he leaves for work, and he leaves around 7.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I can see him before he comes home, before he's gone all day. But yeah.
Yeah.
So your webinars, are they like live and then people get to ask you questions, or?
Yeah. They're live. I mute everyone. Everyone asks me questions, and from there I sell my course.
Nice.
Yeah. I've got
What are those?
a podcast for beginners course. So I've got 8 audio lessons, and pre-recorded video lessons like how to edit, how to get onto Patreon, how to get onto Apple, those sort of things people really need to know, and they really need to see how to do it. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I host mine on Anchor, and getting on Apple and Google was fun. Because Anchor is supposed to do it for you, but somehow it didn't happen, and so I had to go and do it. And yeah, I mean, I figured it out because, like I said, this is what I like to do. So
Yeah.
a couple Google searches later, I was all set. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It took forever for me to get onto Apple as well. You're not the only one from Anchor.
good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better now.
Hey, what's driving your curiosity right now?
I need to get more YouTube subscribers. So, I guess that's for work. For fun, I'm kind of a granny, and I really like to knit and bake and cook and crochet and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I've been kind of looking. I'm making a really complicated crochet sweater for the first time ever, and it's been kind of a fun process getting to get into that pattern and concentrate on it, and it's very slow going, but it's really fun.
Yeah. Impressive. That's probably really, is it because we're all locked in our homes, we've got to find a hobby, or that's been brewing for some time?
I've been doing that since, for about 15 years. I learned how to knit when my son was a baby.
Right.
Out of a book. And just kind of went from there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What's driving your curiosity right now?
The post-corona world. I was like,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, really. I've been reading a lot of economist articles and futurists and all of that, and it's just fascinating. I think what I can gather is that this is the crisis the world needs to have to reset everything. And I think the world, a lot of them are talking about that the world is echoing the 1930s, and I think the world that we're going into will echo the 1940s, after the war, when everything was getting rebuilt, and but it's also going to be more of a renaissance almost, because we're going to take AI and robotics and all the digital aspects of our lives more seriously, and it's going to be freeing up humans for creativity. And I think it's just going to be a golden age that we're going to creep into in the next few decades. And I think that's just the most fascinating insights out there.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people are getting more into the digital media stuff now because it's there and they have time, because a lot of them are not at work right now. I mean, I'm still working as much as I was before, luckily.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not. And it's kind of cool to see what people are coming up with.
I mean, I had a guest on last week who said that you wouldn't be surprised there'd be a lot more empty office buildings after this is finished. And I tend to agree with him. I think that's just, everyone would realize that working from home is achievable, it's doable, And also, I think, because I'm a little bit of a greenie, that this will give the planet some respite too, because there'll be less people on the road, less carbon emissions, everything like that. So I think this is a change for the better. I mean, my
I
heart,
think so too.
yeah.
Um, and it needs to happen. And it's not just better for the environment too, because it definitely is with the less cars and everything going on. But it's better for people.
Mm,
Like if you can work at your house, there's a lot less sick time and stuff that you take because you're not around all these other people. You get all these germs all the time.
exactly.
And then you're not stressed out all the time. Um, my husband has a 40-minute commute to work one way. And then he has to park, and then he has to like either ride a bus or walk a mile to his office.
Mm,
And then sitting there all day in a cubicle answering phones. And now they're finally starting to let certain people work from home. So like the first week they had 5 people they tested working from home, and they've got a couple more coming. And it's like, why didn't they just have it's at a hospital scheduling appointments? And
mm.
so it's something that can completely be done remotely and working from home. And it's taken this to make them realize that it's actually doable and give them the push to do it.
Yeah, exactly right. And also, I
Yeah.
think it's everyone working from home would be great for the family life too, because now you can have flexi time, you can spend more time with the kids. I think
Hmm.
the world's going to be a much better place 5, 10 years down the track than what it is today, and I think it's something to hang on to.
I'm wondering how many more people are going to choose to continue to homeschool after this. I know you
Mm,
said in Australia the schools aren't closed, but here in the US they are.
mm,
And I had already been homeschooling my daughter this year. She begged me to pull her from public school and homeschool her, so I did. But my 15-year-old is in high school, and they just now, after being out of school for 3 weeks, started doing online learning. It took them this long to figure out that they need to actually set up the online classrooms and get that going.
mm.
Um, but I wonder how many people are frustrated with school and then realizing that they actually have a lot more patience than they thought they did,
Yeah,
and maybe they will
yeah,
continue to homeschool. It'll be interesting to find out.
yeah. I think some of the teachers are rejoicing if you realise that they're not the problem; it's the kids.
Yeah, well, and I think some of the parents are maybe starting to realize in some cases it is the school that's the problem and not their child.
Yeah. Well.
Because that was our case. It was, um, the school didn't know how to deal with her and didn't want to. And um, it was a rough time for everybody
Yeah.
involved. And so when we pulled her, everybody was happy.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of it too is that all the bureaucracy that the schools have to go through, it makes it hard to deal with children in a way that's nice for them and
Mm.
beneficial to everybody. Um, I mean, just think about all the time they spend lining up for recess. It's amazing how much time gets wasted.
Speaking of children, if 12-year-old Emily was walking to the studio, what advice would you give her?
I got practice on this one last night. If 12-year-old Emily walked into the studio, I would tell her to keep going and just know that nothing that she has planned for herself is going to work out the way that she has planned, but it's going to be so much better.
Hmm.
Kind of weird advice, but
Yeah.
she's a 12-year-old, can't go into too many details.
No.
Yeah. At 12 years old, I thought that I was going to be, I think I wanted to be a nurse or something when I was 12, maybe a teacher. I don't know. I went back and forth between those two a lot. And well, I ended up doing half a semester at college and then joining the Army.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I was a Korean linguist in the Army and did that for a while and had an injury. So I had to get out after about 2 years and married my first husband when I was 20 years old. So things did not turn out the way I thought they were gonna happen, but that was okay
Yeah.
because I got a great kid out of it and I got a practice first marriage. So my second marriage is wonderful. And yeah, it worked out.
And finally, is there any lighthearted stories you'd like to share with us before we wrap up?
You want to hear my fish story?
I'd love to hear your fish story.
So behind me, I have a fish tank, and it's a fairly new addition to the house. Um, and I took my son with me to the store because he just really, really needed to get out of the house the other day. So I took him to the pet store because the pet stores are still open. And we're going to get a couple more fish to put in there. And there's, oh yeah, you can kind of see his tail right there, that long thing right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that is, he's called a pond loach, Loach. And they're the ugliest things ever. They're just really gross looking. And because they have all these like tentacles on their face, and they have a sucker mouth like a catfish. And then he's like 6 inches long. He's weird looking. And we walk into the pet store, and my son's like, oh, I want to take that thing home. I want to buy that one. No, we're not getting that ugly thing. And so he pesters me about it for about 10 minutes, and I finally give in. I'm like, go find the fish guys so we can find out what this thing is, if it can live in our tank and will not eat the other fish because he's huge, yada, yada. Well, it turns out somebody dropped him off because they couldn't have him in their tank anymore for one reason or another. So the pet store took him in, and he was being adopted, and he was free, and he needed a much bigger space than he was in. And I caved. And now he's in our fish tank. And his name is Hot Dog.
Hot Dog.
Hot Dog. My son wouldn't let me name him Wiener, so he's Hot Dog.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it was so funny because we're talking to the fish guy was actually pretty cool at the store, and my son starts telling him about my podcast, and he subscribes to my YouTube channel right then and there in the pet store. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard of adopting cats and dogs before, but I never heard of adopting a fish. That's
yeah. So okay. So we live close to the University of Iowa.
Yeah.
And so when the students will get all these pets all the time, and then as soon as the semester ends or they have to move back home for the summer and their parents say, no, you can't bring that home, they put them up for adoption. I guess the same thing happens with fish. Or people get fish that are way too big for their tanks.
Yeah.
They'll get like a 10-gallon tank and put an Oscar in it or something.
Oh, don't put Oscars in the tank, please, people.
No, especially not if you have other fish. Like, do a little bit of research, just a little bit.
This is a PSA, folks. Do not put Oscars in tanks with other fish. My mate put one in his tank, ate all the other fish.
Yep. And Oscars are cool, but they are carnivorous. So, yeah. So they do that, and then, they have to, like, you're not supposed to release them in like, local waterways and stuff because that's really awful to do. So
yeah,
they end up bringing them back to the pet store, which is responsible.
Mm.
And then the pet store lets other people have them for free, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, actually. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's still kind of weird. So we have Hot Dog, the ugly fish. And then I found out that loaches really like to try and escape the tank. So I was glad that the top was fully enclosed. Because we have a cat. Yeah, and the cat would go in and probably try to eat them. So I had to make sure the top was totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hot dog might end up a hot dog for the cat.
Right? Tasty snack.
Of course. Wasn't me, Mum. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
The cow hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah, he's sitting there meowing and the fish is flapping. No, he would do it too. This cat, he brings us, we find half squirrels and rabbits all over the place and birds. And he tried to bring a live bunny in the house once.
Right.
He got really mad at me when I told him no and I wouldn't let him come in with the bunny.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't need live bunnies in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, growing up on a farm down south in Western Australia. I actually had a cat who actually ate an endangered species.
Uh-oh.
It was
What
a
did he eat?
it was a bird called a mallee fowl. It looked like a native brown chicken, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Very few, very rare to see. They were prevalent before the European settlers came in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one was on our lawn one day, and next minute the cat ate it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I love that Australia has that we don't have here?
What's that?
Fruit bats.
Fruit bats, huh?
Yes. We have little brown bats here in Iowa, and they're adorable, but they're not fruit bats, and fruit bats are really cute.
Yeah.
Um, I follow a Facebook page called Wings, Paws, and Claws, and she is a fruit bat rehabilitator. So she'll get like the babies and make sure they live, and then take them to a bigger aviary, and then once they're ready, they'll let them back out in the wild.
Yeah.
And they're so cute.
When I lived up north in Broome, we had a mango tree at the backyard, and that the fruit bats absolutely loved it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, they ate all my mangoes.
Yeah. They give you little tips about that, like
Yeah.
humane types of netting that won't hurt them, that can save your fruit. And so you can kind of like set off what you want so they can't get to it.
Yeah, well, they had a trick. We put a mothball in a stocking,
Mm-hmm.
throw it in the tree. Because apparently they can't stand the smell of mothballs.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it worked. It worked.
I can't stand the smell of mothballs either.
Me either.
No. I wonder how they get them off the moths, though.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so you have fruit bats, and I think they're cute. You have a lot of, like you were telling me before on take one of this about the cryptozoology podcast.
Yeah, it's what I'm going to do with a mate of mine. Well, first and foremost, for my listeners who are listening outside Australia, we have this creature called the drop bear. It's a meaner, larger koala bear that lives in a tree, and it's carnivorous. And it falls on unexpected campers on their tents.
But only Europeans and Americans, right?
Only Europeans and Americans, especially European backpackers. They're attracted to like the wicked camper vans with all those funny spray painted signs on them. And the smell of sauerkraut in the morning really does wake them up.
Oh, smell of sauerkraut in the morning will wake anybody up.
But also, there's also lots of other things. There's a rumor going around. There's a mythical creature called the hoop snake, which is a snake that forms itself into a hoop and goes straight to people down the hill. But listen out for it. It's going to be fantastic. I mean, it's also in every town in the bush. It's got a rumor of a panther going around, or a yowie, which is a kind of like the Australian Bigfoot, or things like that.
Are they like super hairy, like the U.S. Bigfoot, or do they look different?
Apparently, they're super hairy. Cadbury had a range of chocolate bars that shaped like them when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, like actually, you wouldn't have a Kinder Surprise though. They like a chocolate inside. You crack it open, and it's got a little toy inside, a little toy yowie.
Yeah, we have something like that, but it has stuff that you can't choke on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I've just put it out there because I just find that sort of stuff fascinating, and because it's always going to be a lot of BS when you chat to locals and you get the occasional conspiracy nut with a tinfoil hat who thinks he's seen them or breeds them.
Yeah. I would listen to it. My other podcast is called The Dark Spirit Society. And so we talk about alcohol and ghosts. So like we start off, we give you a cocktail recipe, and then we talk about a haunting that's associated with either what the cocktail is named after or the distillery where the alcohol was brewed or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun because then you get a cocktail recipe, you get to learn about liquor and history and ghosts. Yeah, it's totally nerdy. So it's kind of up there because my co-host has another one called Lady Teal's Curios, and she'll talk to people who've been abducted by aliens or breed Bigfoots and have haunted dolls and things like that. So
Yeah. Actually, I actually got a ghost story. I was working in a hotel in the city many years ago, and I was on night audit.
mm-hmm.
The the elevator was locked, and so was the front door. But the elevator
Mm-hmm.
came down, opened up, there was no one there, and about 15 seconds later, the door just slid open. And apparently,
All on its own.
it just happened one night after about midnight.
Ugh.
It's just a strange coincidence that the elevator door opened and then the automatic door opened within 15 seconds of each other. Like someone just was
Yeah,
walking out of the hotel. Yeah.
that's nuts.
And apparently it was haunted by a US sailor who fell down the elevator shaft, but I don't really believe in ghosts. I'm really a bit of a skeptic. But yeah. Apparently that's what happened, and yeah, that's what I saw, and it was just I can't explain it.
That's nuts. How come it has to be a U.S. sailor that fell down the shaft? I mean,
Oh, it's just local legend. He was chased out of the room by some prostitutes or something like that.
oh, geez.
Yeah.
We like to say that all the U.S. sailors are gay, so it's probably some male prostitutes chasing him out of the room, or he didn't know what to do with the females. I don't know.
I don't know.
And before anybody gets too mad at me, my husband was in the Navy. He's not gay. It's a joke. Yeah. But I was always a skeptic too. But my house is haunted, so we've heard plenty of footsteps and people talking on the baby monitor, and all sorts of crazy stuff. Seen people walking through the house, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So you sound like a nutcase when you tell people that, but whatever.
Yeah. Apparently, I was working in my 20s. Did a working holiday over in England, and I was in a pub that was haunted, or allegedly haunted. It was in Bristol, and Bristol was the key part of the slave trade, and was built on old slave tunnels.
Oh.
I was up we were living upstairs, and I went up into the loft, and I saw this white shape go past. And also in the accommodation section of that pub, showers would turn on like out of the blue.
Lovely.
Yeah, and there was like a phone that goes into a room that didn't have a phone, and all of a sudden it was ringing up reception. It's just, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. That's
cool.
It's weird. It was like a full-on crazy hotel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome when other people tell you about it, when you have stuff going on, like you're the only person home, and then you hear all these footsteps upstairs, and there's nobody walking up there. That's kind of creepy. So being in the hotel and getting calls from random phones that don't exist and showers turning on, I think it would be kind of scary.
I want to point at the month because I actually went into that room and turned that shower off before, but and much of the water was starting to sink through to the room below, and the room below was starting to go moldy.
Oh no.
Yeah. The management's official line is that the cleaner just left the shower on the previous day, but really?
Okay. Yeah, many housekeepers don't leave showers on.
That's right.
I don't even think hotel housekeepers turn the shower on when they clean them. Don't they just wipe them down?
They do. Yeah. I do a little secret of the hospitality industry. Don't ever drink from a cup in a room, because I just wash it in the bathroom sink and just put it back on.
Ew.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
Most of the hotels I've stayed in lately don't even have the glass cups anymore. They're plastic, wrapped in a plastic wrapper so that you know that they're clean.
Yeah.
And I know it's plastic and it's evil and it's wasteful, but I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thanks for coming onto the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man. I'll pop into your show some other time and talk about Kevin and Karen, the Apocalypse edition.
Yeah, you come on my show whenever you want.
Right.
If you want me to resend you that booking link, I will.
So. Yeah. Sounds great. And yeah.
All right.
No worries. Thank you very much.